Welcome back. This is TimAllaire, part 2 of this short tutorial. I wanted to go ahead and pick up where I left off last, which is the add or remove programs. A lot of people that are really into computers find ways to completely get rid of things, but this is kind of a basic way to uninstall and or remove particular programs that you may not be using. As I said last time, we have a tendency to keep adding and adding and adding things to the computer, and not to say that your computer can't run at the speed that the RAM is processing things, but the more we add, the more fragmented, the slower your hard drive is going to run. So you can combat that with a couple different things, but it's not always, I think, as simple as getting rid of some of the things that you don't particularly need. And one way of doing that is, to go ahead and click on these things that you may never use. For instance, I rarely use this, and I'm not going to get rid of it today because other people that use this computer may use it. But in any case, that's kind of the idea. There are also ways to get rid of and add computer components. I don't necessarily recommend doing that, but some people feel really strongly about what they have. Again, it may go as far as permissions are concerned, depending on where you work, that you may not have that option, but just to let you know that those are there. Let's see. The other thing that I'm a fan of, I enjoy this little application right here, and basically it's a C cleaner, and you can run the cleaner. It does get rid of registry files, which you have to be careful about, especially if you have registry issues. However, it will clean up a bunch of your cache files, your cookies, those types of things, which are all internet-based things, and will make your computer perform at a much faster rate, depending on how much of that stuff you have gunking up your computer, and how large your hard drive is as well. This has a basic rundown. It's got an uninstall, I think, that does a little bit more comprehensive uninstalling than Windows does, especially when it comes to Windows products. For example, Internet Explorer, which I'm not really a big fan of. You're trying to get rid of it. You can never completely get rid of it, but there are applications out there that are free and easy to use. I wanted to come over here just briefly and talk about your system tray. There are ways to manipulate and or change your system tray, and basically, minus your control panel, you can basically get rid of everything down here, which will make your RAM run faster, your computer seem like it's going a lot faster, and it really does work. I would recommend that you be careful when doing that. One way to access that is by right-clicking on here, and this is your basic Explorer menu. If you want to access any information regarding the control panel, you can do that in a couple different ways. And one is through this, and another is through your Windows start menu. And if you click on programs, you can find that there's various different programs that you can manipulate, change, move, what have you. And I think, I'm not exactly sure, let's see, if I go over here and go to properties, if you go over here to properties, you can also change things as far as your taskbar is concerned as well. I think for another video I would say that you could do some things for your system tray, but you have to be careful about what you do as far as booting up your computer, and so I don't think I'll get into that too much today. But I did want to talk a little bit about security. You know, I highly recommend that everyone has some type of security. Many people get away with not having it, but they will get problems, issues, what have you. Your basic antivirus, anti-spyware, those are both really important. They do have free sites out there, however you won't get full privileges unless you pay. And most computers these days come with a 1-year type virus protection that comes along with a firewall. I'm a fan of AVG. I do like McAfee or what have you. There's a bunch of different programs out there that are that will protect your computer. Some of them work better than others. Some of them are really important. And you can obviously run all sorts of different programs at once, some dealing with more antivirus stuff, other ones dealing with registry and that type of stuff. Let's see, when people get into a situation where things are not running the way that they'd like to, and or you have minimum power, it's always good to go back to basic command line, and there's books and books written. DOS has been around for a long time. There's plenty of stuff on the internet that you can get. I'd love to spend 20 minutes going through all the things, but obviously there's different ways of tackling the same things that you see in Windows, and that's done basically by looking at directories, changing directories, filtering folders and files, and a bunch of the commands that are out there will be available online. But basically, you look at your dir command and you look at your directories, and you can use this without using the actual Windows operating system, as far as things that are stored on your computer. But nonetheless, I won't go into great detail about that. I think probably the last thing that I'll talk about is the actual applications themselves. There are particular files that have information, and this one actually doesn't have anything, information stored on them that are files that you can open up and look at. And they have different things within them, pictures, what have you. And then there are files that actually run a process of some sort, and they're called executable files. In which case, Google Chrome is one of them, and that's a big one for us because we can access the internet through those types of applications, and there are a bunch of them out there. There's Opera, Google. The big one obviously is Internet Explorer. There are Safari, all of the Apple applications as well. I just particularly like Google because it's fast and fairly simple. But there are other applications that you can use on your computer the same way that people use applications on iPhones and all the apps that people talk about today. You can run games obviously on your computer. Another big one is stuff like iTunes, where you can manipulate different files that have music, video, what have you. Those types of things are really important too. In any case, that was just a brief overview, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.